because at the time when we were really in the thick of it, they only had a handful of cases. And I said, don't wait, start now because it's going to happen. And I saw some of the stuff from the from activities in Houston that was on the news, and it's scary. It's scary that they're going to get hit like we are. Arizona is in that state of emergency mode now. The southern states that Dion mentioned, they're going to get there too. And as always, because of travel and people are looking to get away, trying to get back to places, it'll wind up back here. Mm-hmm. So we're having this discussion now, and it's basically let's get ready for round 2, and let's start doing the legwork if we haven't already.
Good points. I want to mention something that I learned or confirmed for me, that I simply and totally dislike cubicle curtains.
Liz, before I got on here, I was walking on one of the floors of the new hospital we're building, and for all the nice finishes they're putting in, for all the modern fixtures, and the layouts are beautiful, and then you look at things that are so archaic, and the curtain rail, and thinking about, okay, we have to put cubicle curtains up here. You can do so much to ensure the privacy of a patient while being able to safely monitor them.
Yeah,
there's no need for a curtain.
Yeah, I mean, it's a challenge in an older space and, an aged building with perhaps semi-private rooms. We all know that, but, it's 2020, soon to be 2021, and there's got to be someone that can come up with an alternate cleanable surface for us. And we've seen the partitions and we've seen frosted and smoked glass, but a lot of solutions are expensive. They can't be retrofitted to current infrastructure. So we really need to come up with something as an industry. We need to look to healthcare construction. And, it's just insane to think that new construction right now, that anyone would be installing cubicle curtain track and giving us another surface to have to worry about cleaning and disinfecting.
Yeah, and it makes me think about what I said earlier. Like, you really have to be minded on infection prevention. A lot of things that are put into healthcare environments, unfortunately, they're following a blueprint that, this looks pretty and this looks comfortable, and those things, the title of the show is Clean and Comfort, and they absolutely do have a place, but there's some things that absolutely you don't need anymore, and I wholeheartedly agree with you. Cubicle curtains are a bane of my existence, and if there was a way to properly do away with them permanently, I would be all over it in a heartbeat.
I see Dion smiling right now.
One of our leaders, he sent us a song this week from a room of cubicle curtains that he manages, and it made me laugh.
What was the song?
With this conversation, I can't remember. I can't remember the song, but he's saying that one day we'll get it right, because we have a cubicle curtain process, and it's just not working.
2 weeks into the COVID-19 pandemic and high census in the hospital I am in, I'm fortunate. We have private rooms, only a couple are semi-private, but the decision was made after 2 weeks of sending these out to be laundered, taking them up, putting them down, the ladders, who's available to do it, who can climb, who can't climb. We've all heard these things and have had to, cope with them and assist with them. But we made the determination as a team, let's remove them. Visitors aren't here. There's doors. The doors need to be closed anyway for the most part, except when you're entering and exiting the room. So we made the decision to remove them, and we made that together. We made it with our nursing partners, with EVS and infection control. And we most recently started to put them back up, but that was a decision that we made.
Yeah, we were able to do that in some of our areas in my hospital as well. And fortunately, because of the need to redistribute patient populations, we still had to use them in some areas.
Right.
One thing that we had to adapt pretty quickly was the use of disposables. And the disposable process, I mean, at least from that respect, it was like they're lighter curtains, they're easier to manipulate. Still have to get onto the ladder, still have to be able to hang them, but it's not like taking a fabric launderable curtain that when it's unfurled and you're dealing with it and you're on the ladder, that could be a good like 10, 15 pounds of fabric.
Yeah.
But I agree.
Here's a question, Jeff, Dion, Dr. Carr. If they make them disposable, why can't we just make them cleanable and start to hang up attractive cleanable ones?
Well, you know what I was thinking, and while you guys were talking disposable curtains, there's materials there that you could stamp a pattern onto that's wipeable. You know, even in the plastic family, that's wipeable, that you can easily wipe it or spray it down with a bleach product. The same way we prep a bed before we get ready to really clean the room, prep surfaces with a disinfectant. These disposable curtains, we can't. And years ago in another hospital that I've worked, there was a disposable curtain track installer, like a hook that you can quickly install and remove disposable curtains.
On the right track.
Yes, I think that's the company.
Yeah, they're still around. They're still around. They have a series of tools that can be actually retrofit old rails.
Right, and it takes maybe right now. I believe it was Jeff that mentioned the curtains weigh about 30 pounds. You know, open when you're trying to hook them one at a time up on a rail, up on a ladder, and this product it took me literally maybe 1 minute to just put it on and hook it up, and that was it.
Another thing is that if there's really, I think the whole idea of using launderable curtains again becomes a problem because of logistics of washing them. But a way around that would be there's a lot of disinfectants out there that don't have a soft surface claim. And soft surface, what I mean is that you can actually use it on a fabric, something that's semi-porous or semi-permeable, I should say. So not just like curtains, for example, but if there's fabric, and obviously hospital design is trying to eliminate the use of those types of materials as much as possible. But we talk about older facilities. We talk about things that can find their way into a unit. Being able to have that claim for an item like a cubicle curtain would be helpful, but I'm in favor of either abolishing them completely or looking to retrofit a system where you can use a series of disposables and hang them quickly, like Dion's mentioning. But
I'm all for reducing clutter and reducing the surfaces that we have to maintain clean and disinfect.
Exactly.
I think Dr. Carr wanted to say something.
I wanted to say one of the things thoughts that popped in my head is this would be a good chance what we talked about last week about using biofilm and UV light. I wonder if there is a product that can kill the germs on these surfaces by using those methods when it comes down to the cubicle curtain.
That's a great question. I'm not, I'd probably have to do some research, but the biofilms, hypochlorous acid, or the peroxyacetic acid, UV lighting, there's a lot of hard surfaces they will kill germs on. Soft surface, that's another question. That's you just gave me a little bit of homework, so I'm going to try to look into that.
Well, all germs and bacteria and viruses live a little bit longer on soft surfaces. So
they do.
What you come back with.
Yeah, that's a good thing to find out to see if it's possible to kill the germs using those methods on soft surfaces.
So we know this is probably coming at each of our hospitals that we work at. We just recently, every hospital in America just spent a lot of money doing all the things that we just talked about supplies, retrofitting areas and units and ORs to become COVID, renting of supplies, beds, tables, equipment, ventilators, right? There were all these supplies. And at the same time, we were not able to have elective surgeries, so every hospital lost some money. Our census went down, and of course, we had some beds open after our high COVID-19 census went down. So now we're kind of in this renew period, and we definitely are going to start to hear conversations about cost savings, perhaps, right? Maybe some budget cuts to think about the next 6 months, which we're already halfway into June. June is basically over. So how do we control costs and prepare for a second influx of COVID-19 or a second wave, if you will? Hopefully not. But I think we can all agree that we must be financially responsible. We must look to cut waste. We must look to control supplies. But I think we all agree that we just simply cannot afford to look to reduce EVS staff. And how do we feel about that?
Well, my take on that is, you can't reduce EVS staff because with COVID, you need someone to clean the space. And you need mechanical motion to clean the space, whereas you need people to produce that mechanical motion. Where I see now is becoming extremely consistent and efficient. So we will not have to redo a surface over and over again because we didn't do it right the first time. We should have products that really work so we don't have to reuse and overuse a product over and over again because it's not effective. You need to maybe look at products we can eliminate. We need to look at maybe plastic bags so we could spend less in one area and move that money somewhere else so we don't waste. I know my boss, my director in the hospital that I do work, is looking at a lot of those alternative things. So I think being efficient, using the correct products, teaching your staff and educating them to be smarter when it comes to products is very important, and it will take them a long, long way. Anyone else?
I wholeheartedly agree.
Liz, what are you doing at your facility? Or what do you think you're doing?
Yeah, well, for a cost savings, we're definitely gonna reduce our overtime. We use a lot of overtime during the COVID-19 pandemic and after to decommission the COVID-19 spaces. The ORs turned into ICUs. We had to get a lot of floor care done. We had to get a lot of terminal cleaning done. And we spent a lot of money on staffing. We used some temporary staff to compensate for the high sick rate that we had. And then after, you can't work for, and that's the great thing about the organization that I work for, you can't say self-care is important and then not support people to take some needed time off. So our team here where I am, they didn't take any time off in March, in April, in May. So when we started to see a dip after we did the terminal cleaning of many of these spaces, floor care, and we were in a good position, we started to make sure that our staff took days off, took longer weekends, used some of their personal and vacation time, and really practice self-care, and were able to go home and spend time with their family. Our leaders as well, really important. So we're going to start to control our overtime. Our temp labor maybe won't be here in another couple of weeks. We have to control that. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to take a look at our supplies. We're going to take a look at our tools. We're going to make sure we manage our linen. We're going to make sure that we continue to coach